My name is George Sims. I served in the Royal Marine Commandos. My first one was Sicily, where I was wounded aboard ship. And the second one was on D-Day, and I was there on the first day and wounded on the first day and brought back to England. I was frightened to bleeding death out at the time. No, it was an absolute hell on earth. It really was. It was firing everywhere from all over from different weapons. And we was actually on the beach and couldn't get off the beach until we could fight our way off it. But it was a very experience that you could never wish to go through again. Going through my mind, I would die on the beach, like 90% of them were doing. And strangely enough, they were all getting head wounds because they had 2 points on top of the beach where we were landing, set for your head. So most of the mates that you pushed out of the way were headless. It was a terrible experience, it really, really was.
Well, I joined the army as a boy at 15. I left school at 14, which was the going age at that time. I'm the youngest of 12, 9 lived. And during the war, there were 7 of us in the family that was in the forces. And we all came through it. But I had a brother of mine in the same regiment as me. That's how I came to join the Oxen Bucks. With there was a thing in the forces, and I think it probably still exists. If you're an older brother, you can claim your younger brother. He has to agree, of course, but he was already in the airborne and I wasn't at that time. I did a para course and then we went into action by glider. We were the 6th Air Landing Brigade. You do training and training and training, and then you get fed up and all the rest of it. But you know something's going to happen, but you don't know where. I was the gun layer, which is the man that fires a gun, 6-pounder anti-tank gun. And that's why we had to go in by glider with us, although I was a paratrooper. You had to take a jeep and a 6-pounder anti-tank gun and land, actually training to knock tanks out. I mean, basically, you had to go on special ranges. There was a range at Harlech, near Harlech Castle, and in Wales, and another one at home next to sea near Hunstanton. Because with an anti-tank gun, it's either you or the tank knocks you out. Whatever practice you do goes out the window when the real thing starts. I had a prior knowledge of D-Day because before that, when I was in the Durham Light Infantry, I went into, my first taste of action was 10th of July 1943, Sicily. And then remember, it took about 6 weeks, that campaign. And then you've heard of Taormina in Sicily. You've probably seen the natural amphitheatre there. Montgomery came and told us, he said, I'm leaving you and I'm going back to join General Eisenhower as we are planning something special for Europe. Yes, and we are taking, he had a habit of taking troops that had already been in battle with him, you see. Well, as soon as I came back home, my brother said, you might as well come and join me. That's when he claimed me. And I trained up as, with the Oxen Bucks ready for D-Day. That was November 43, and then it was 1944, of course, when D-Day started. Well, there was only about 6 of us on the gun, and we had some RAF and artillery observers, but they had wireless sets. They could keep in contact because they were going to bring, the RAF especially, to bring typhoons in to assist you if you needed them when you landed. You're scared to death, there's no two words about it. I mean, I don't matter what training you do, I mean, it's either going to be them or you, isn't it? I'm a Christian, I read my Bible every day. And even in those days, I had my Bible with me, and the Lord has been with me through, well, so far, He's kept me so very good. Well, we got everything at the Clyde ready, yes. And then, to be honest, for an hour or so, I was looking for C Company, because our gun was going to be attached to them. Luckily, it was very quiet for us. It was quiet for the airborne. The D-Day itself, the Doddle, only isolated firing near us until about 8 o'clock. The biggest noise was about 4 o'clock on the 6th, when the guns opened out at the sea. We knew then that was the start of landing from the sea. And then some of their shells come over amongst us. And a few casualties amongst us, but you all dig in. And we dug the gun in, and we didn't have a faint idea which direction any enemy was going to come to us. You know what I mean? But we knew that as soon as it started in the morning, then that would be, because you've taken those bridges. There were 3 bridges together. There was the river and the canal. And then you all probably have heard of the famous cafe just across the bridge. It was only a rough shanty at that time. By 8 o'clock the next morning, that was the first time I ever fired a gun in action. We knocked out 2 tanks in about 20 minutes. The first time I ever fired at a tank, the shot hit it and rebounced off, ricocheted off, and it's very frightening. Well, the tank stops, and before he gets a chance to see for what was happening, you've got to get another shot in, which I did, and managed to, it burst into flames. And the crew bailed out. And one of our members of the, had a machine gun, we have a machine gun. It sounds harsh, but this is warfare. You don't let people come out of a tank and wish them best of luck. You shoot them. You have to stop and think, well, why do these people want to see us? And then you realise there's only a few of you left.
We had an inkling, an idea, because we were doing a lot of examination of beaches and we were asking a lot of questions. We've been training for this for 12 months outside Bournemouth, right up as far as in Ayrshire. All different types of beaches, different types of sands. It was a very mixed effort and everybody combined, and we helped one another a great deal. We got on very well, that was the important thing. One day we said there's a big inspection hierarchy from the RAF coming out. And there was one RAF that officer went absolutely berserk. These people, these lads, these gentlemen are Air Force. Do you know the colour the Air Force wear? Blue, sir. Well, why are they not in blue? They are not in khaki. Air Force colour is blue. You will get them all into blue before, and I'm telling you this, before I leave these premises. I think the day we set off was a big secret. They didn't even tell us. I mean, we knew it was in the running, but we didn't know where or when. But that's what happened. It matures outside Hampshire. We left from Bournemouth. 06:28 on Tuesday the 5th of June. Never forget that day. We went to shore on Juno Beach at about 6:28 in the morning. Very, very little resistance, very little resistance. We were quite very surprised. But we got ashore without not too much trouble. We lost a couple of lads, but that's what the war was all about. Just shot and killed. A basic, very basic landing craft. In 3-ton Bedfords, we all reversed them, and no trouble. We drove off, no trouble. We went to shore, no trouble. And we also, this is the dull list, if this is invading, we'll do this every day. But the nearer we got in, the harder it got. We were very fortunate because when we landed, it was just, about 6:28 in the morning, and all the Germans were having the breakfast. And we surrounded the unit where they were in and captured them all. And they just carried on eating the breakfast. Not a shot, no. I think they were pleased to be captured. Loading and unloading was the main thing. We dealt a lot with the injured coming ashore that were carried by Cheshire. A lot of lads, young lads, terrible. I'll never forget one young lad, 19 years young, can't say old. And all he says is, I want me mum. I want me mum. Terrible, terrible. Had his leg shot off. It wasn't too bad, the fighting. It wasn't actual, it wasn't hand to hand, or it was distances of firing, you know, 20, 30, 40, say 3 miles away, 2 miles away. And down onto the beach, then off the beach, up into the hills. It was very fluid, because we were told that we had to do anything and everything to help anybody and everybody, including prisoners of war. We were down there for 3 months, 3 solid months on the beach. And we only had one loss, and that was his own fault. My best friend, and he said to me, I'm going to walk down there and stand on that ridge because I want to see what's going on the beach. I said, you sit down, get your ass on some sand. Oh, he said, I'll be all right. And he walks up and he stood there, and he wasn't up there a minute, straight through the head, boom, shot dead.
It was on a landing craft. I think there was only 14 on the boat. We tied up on the Glenroy at midnight because we had some Royal Marines to take the obstacles near the land, near the sea, the coast. When we was going to the beach, we kind of looked up into the sky and it was full of aircraft. I thought, there's something coming on here. But when we landed, it was so quiet, we came away. As soon as we came away, the battleships started to fire off. So the Germans were just making, I would say about a mile from the coast, concentrated on that. And when we got through that, we was picked up on our ship again, made our way back to Portsmouth. Well, we just letting the soldiers off and then coming away to pick some more up. But we went to the American beach on the second, third day. Terrible, terrible. Some of those landing craft of the Americans didn't reach, they'd sunk beforehand, where I saw. There was bodies in the sea. That's the worst thing I've ever seen. And when we was coming away, we hit a mine. Panic, because we was below decks, and then when it exploded, it just listed on one side. We was picked up by a Liberty boat and brought back to England. Well, I just think it was a job, just a job. Lucky, I said. I was lucky.
I was a flight mechanic, airframes, not engines. The first time I was right on the edge of the North Sea. When a plane came in, I had to start fixing the broken wings. It was a bit nerve-wracking because it was right on the very edge. I'm very proud of the RAF. I think they did very well. They were fantastic. Very good. About time they showed what the lads did. And the girls, of course. There'd have been a mighty loss without them.
My name is Geoffrey Stott, and I'm aged 94. Well, I joined the Navy as a boy cadet at the age of 15. We were down in the Park area in England, and the Japanese came along, and they sank the ship we'd been working on, and then they came along and put us out of the water and took us away to their place. We spent 3.5 years as prisoners of war of the Japanese.